Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. I am JD, aka He Who Pods.
And I'm Dash, aka Dashing D.
Holler. No specs today.
No specs today. Okay. All right. Showing us your eyes.
Watch your mouth. No, I'm just kidding. Yes. Tired eyes on deck. You see them? Bags. Shopping bags. You know what I'm saying? For those watching and not listening. Right in these bags. You know what I'm saying? Right in there.
I barely see them.
Yeah, right. Anyway, what we did see though is the video / short film for
Yeah.
Wu-Tang's new song, Mandingo.
Mandingo.
This movie and song are 4 minutes and 29 seconds. I ain't got a lot to say. I'll go quick, if you don't mind.
Okay. I don't think I have a lot either, but yeah.
Love Wu-Tang. Don't love this video.
Okay.
Either give us a short film or give us a music video.
Okay.
I don't want to read subtitles while I'm also trying to listen to the song. I choose one.
That's
It looks good. It looks like they put a lot of money into it, a lot of effort, a lot of production value. It looks good. But I can't do both. Like, there's no way I could focus on when niggas are rapping and saying and also be reading the subtitles at the bottom of the screen here. Like, pick one. Either I'm gonna have to listen to something or watch something, but personally, me, JD, I'm not capable of focusing on both at the same time. You got a bunch of different rappers going in. Everybody sounds good. Let me be clear.
Yeah, they sound great.
I would rather listen to the song. It sounds like a good Wu-Tang song. Sounds on brand for Wu-Tang. As soon as you hit play, sound like Wu-Tang, and I like that.
Yeah.
But I'm watching the video and I'm like, I can't focus on both of these things at the same time.
I agree. I was having a hard time watching the video and catching the subtitles, which is really interesting because I'm a subtitle girly. I love to watch things, with the subtitles, but there's a difference between having subtitles and other dialogue going on rather than subtitles that are the actual that is the actual dialogue going on.
Right.
So it was distracting for me, like, because I then start zeroing in on the subtitles more than
ignoring the song.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can't tell. Usually, I come up here and I could give you at least a quote or two or my favorite part of the song.
Yeah,
I can't even do that because I was like hearing, then reading, and then it's like
yeah. So
they made me battle the Wu-Tang, and I lost.
So maybe we needed to listen to it as opposed to watch the video or something instead, but we opted for the video this time. I thought I liked the video. It was very vivid, like you said. It looked like a lot of money was spent to produce it. It's produced by Mathematics and RZA.
The song, yeah.
Yeah, and isn't the video as well?
No, the video is by somebody else. Hold on, I
Oh,
can tell you right
sorry.
Hold on, I got you. I'm just starting the video over. Oh, it says here in the details of the video that this is from something called the Saga Continues collection.
Yeah, and then Rap Radar reported that it's from the Wu and Mathematics long-awaited album Black Samson, the Bastard Swordsman.
Okay. Well, before we get to that, it says a film by Jason Zada.
Okay. Yeah, so I got that wrong. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I got you.
Listen, I thought this was
but I know that collection.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm sorry. No, you could talk. I'm just thinking about that. Mathematics does a lot of stuff with Wu-Tang.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I need to go to his page, but I'm a little confused by that, what you said. What you said there. Let me go to mathematics page. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not seeing anything on Spotify. Maybe it's something I need to research and come back with, but yeah, I don't see that. But the video description on YouTube did say that. In the description, it said it's part of the Saga Continues collection.
Okay.
But I don't even see that when I go to mathematics Spotify page, so that's really weird.
Yeah.
The
I
Saga.
mean,
The Saga Continues is a Wu-Tang album from 2017, and that I know, but I'm not really sure about that part.
I
Unless
don't know.
this is part 2 of that.
I don't know how accurate this is, but this was written by someone from Rap Radar on March 7th, and they're saying that this was from Black Samson
Mm-hmm.
that has not been released yet, I guess.
Okay.
So
I
I
would
don't know
gladly listen to this song again, but this
without the video.
video, I feel like I gotta watch the video on mute so I could
Yeah.
zone in on the video, or I gotta listen to the song. That's my
Yeah,
stance.
I agree. And I'm sure that there was more to take away from this because the song is called Mandingo, and I'm gonna guess that it's um um it's birthed from Mandingo the film. Um so which I don't know a whole lot about. Um I'll say what I did pull up was it's a 1975 American historical melodrama film that focuses on the Atlantic slave trade in the antebellum South. And the film title refers to the Mandinka people, who are referred to as Mandingos and described as being good slaves for fighting matches.
Yeah, we know
So,
the history of Mandingos.
oh, okay.
I'm saying like that was the thing, Mandingo fights, right? So we
Well,
know that part. I'm sure as far as Wu goes, yeah, they're probably tying it to something along that nature. I mean, in the video, it's saying Mandingo's dead and he's being resurrected and all this stuff. I
right.
couldn't keep up. I gladly listened to the song again, but that's all I got.
Okay. Well, I didn't know the history of Mandingo, so I figured I'd look it up
You don't know about that
and share.
Mandingo fights?
No, I know the other Mandingo, but not very familiar with the film. I knew that the film existed, but I didn't know exactly what it was about. So I looked it
It's
up.
similar in definition. Big,
Sure.
strong, black.
Okay.
For one side, it was warriors, quote unquote, who were pitted against each other to fight for the entertainment of rich whites. And on the other side, it's entertainment for ladies.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of entertainment, trailer drop that we saw
Mhm.
for a show coming out on Amazon. I'm sorry, on
Paramount.
Paramount. Whoops.
Okay.
Um, called Mobland.
Yeah.
Um, and it's coming out on March 30th on Paramount
Exciting.
Plus. This is not an ad; they didn't pay us. Um, trying to pull up the full cast, but
Well,
the
I
trailer
know.
looked interesting.
Yeah. I was gonna
Oh,
say
go ahead.
the top three that were noted in the trailer was Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, and Helen Mirren.
Yep.
I guess it's about a mob family.
Yep.
You don't exactly say that in the trailer, but
Right.
it's called Mobland, so we
And
have
it
to
hints it.
assume that's what this is. It looks really interesting to me. I'm glad that it's a series and not a movie.
Now that's the part that makes me have pause. If this was a movie, I would watch it, especially
Mhm.
because it was Guy Ritchie, right? Isn't he who directed it?
I think so.
Um, I'm on IMDb. I'll tell you right now. We are not well researched today, as y'all can see.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, the episodes are not all by the same people. So there's 4, 6, 8, 10 episodes. It looks like 2 were directed by Guy Ritchie. 4 are directed by Anthony Byrne. Byrne. I don't know this guy. 2 are directed by Lance Go, and 2 are directed by Daniel Skirin. But I could have sworn it said it was written by Guy Ritchie or something like that in the trailer. No writing credits. Nope.
Maybe. I mean, a lot of
Let me
people
pull up the trailer again because that's what I could have sworn. That's what it said.
write these shows.
That's true. Oh, it says from the underworld of Guy Ritchie in the trailer.
Oh my
So
gosh.
maybe this is his concept, but it's just not directed by everyone. I knew I wasn't bugging. I'm like, in the trailer, it said Guy Ritchie in big letters.
Yeah. I just poked myself in the eye.
Oh no.
All right.
Gotta be careful.
This looks really interesting. I
Yeah.
want to watch this. I like that it's a series because then they're able to develop the story. Sometimes certain things I feel like they just happen too fast in movies, or you get to the good part and then the film is over.
Right.
So I do think that some stories are better told as series, even if it's a short series, because you're able to flesh out the story more. Um, you can build it up to something and take us on a journey. Whereas movies, most movies, I'd say, you're forced to wrap it up in some way. Like obviously some films end with the expectation that there will be another. Wicked, for example,
Right.
is a good one. But most films try to tie it in a bow in some way or leave a cliffhanger if there's a chance that there could be another film, but it doesn't. It's, to me, it's very satisfying to have like something like this where you can kind of build us up to what's going on, what's the family doing, what's the family business, and then we get into the nitty-gritty of what's going on. I just, that I feel like that's the benefit to TV sometimes.
Yeah,
um
I hear you. I don't know. I guess we'll see
yeah, if it's good
as it
storytelling.
develops because what'd you say?
I said if it's good storytelling.
Right, and that's about to say Guy Ritchie does good with action films
Hmm.
and like kind of mob type stuff, so this is appealing. But one, we just found out he didn't do the whole thing. And
Hmm.
two, even if he did, I've never seen a Guy Ritchie series. I don't know how well he's gonna do with that because we've seen plenty of Disney Plus Marvel shows, for example,
Hmm.
that really probably could have been a short movie instead of 6 to 9 episodes. So I don't know. I don't know how 10 episodes is gonna go here. Also, these are
Okay.
movie stars, so these 3 movie stars being the lead for this show is really weird to me, and I don't know how that's gonna go either. So curious, yes, but down to watch it, I don't know.
I feel like we're seeing more of that though. Don't you feel like now that streaming has kind of bridged the gap between TV and movies in some way, that we're seeing more people who typically we see on the big screen do these series?
Like who? I don't watch a
Um
lot of TV, so I'm not saying no. I'm just curious who you see that from. Because I know Marvel. It's easy to say that, but that's Marvel's thing now. Is we're bridging TV and film. And I know DC will be doing the same soon. But besides that, who you see doing that?
So I'm trying to think. Maybe necessarily not doing films, not going from movies to series, but doing films that are not going to the movies, right?
Oh, but that's always been a thing. Just before, remember before, this shows our age. Before it was straight to DVD.
Yeah, but how many of them were doing that before? Like the
Even
big.
Morgan Freeman had
Okay.
straight to DVD movies. Yeah.
All right, well then I guess I'm wrong.
I mean, I don't watch the shows enough to know. That's why I'm asking for an example. It wasn't really to say yes or no. It was to kind of see where your point was going, because I don't really watch a lot of TV, so I can't. For me, it would be unfair to say that. Like, the only examples I could think of right now off the top of my head are Marvel and DC. So, like, for example, the Penguin show is a good example of Colin Farrell, a movie star, being the main character of a TV show. But it's DC. That's why I'm like, yeah, Marvel and DC are doing it. But besides that, who is? I don't really know the answer.
Yeah, I didn't have like a
So,
list prepared.
shame on you! No,
On the spot here, so I can get back to you on that, but
yeah, we could discuss it next time.
yeah. You good?
Yeah, I'll tell you off pod.
Okay. So I did want to bring something up.
Talk to me.
Now, I don't know if this is politically correct to say, but I'm going to share it anyway. I made a
That's right.
video
This
about
platform
it.
is not. This platform is not meant to be politically correct. It's meant to be authentic, honest.
I made a video, but I was reluctant to post it. So then I thought, well, let me bring this to the podcast and see what you
That's right.
think.
Let's do it.
So I don't listen to a whole lot of audiobooks.
Okay.
I prefer to, have the book, not the phone. I prefer to have a book in my
It's like what?
hand. I just wanted to show that I was holding something.
Something physical.
Yeah, I prefer to hold the book in my hand and curl up on the couch or in my bed
Right.
and read the book. I like going to the bookstore and buying books. But for certain things, I don't mind doing an audiobook.
Okay.
Um Previously, I'd say fiction. I'll do audiobooks um and then like biographies, things like that. I've listened to audiobooks. So I decided I've been reading this novel for a while. Reading is probably not the right word. I've been attempting to read this novel for a while,
Okay.
and I haven't finished the book. I'll take it with me all the time. Then I always feel like I don't have enough time on the train because my ride is so short. Like just whatever. So anyway, or I'm distracted. One day I was getting my hair done and trying to read the book, and this girl was like, and the girl doing my hair was like, "You're not reading that." Well, yeah, because you keep talking to me, ma'am. She literally kept talking to me, and then
That's
had the
mad
nerve to
funny.
tell me I wasn't reading my book. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to read my book and
Right.
talk to you? I probably would have finished the book that day.
That's
Anyway,
mad funny.
so I'm reading this book. I was like, oh shoot, I think this is on audiobook. Let me listen to it, see if I can finally get through it or at least make a dent in the book. I start listening to it. Now, the way the book is written is from the perspective of one character, and it's also from the perspective of another character. So the chapters switch off each character, right?
Okay. That's interesting.
So there's a woman character, and then there's a man character that's alternating in the book.
Okay.
So I turn it on. I decided to just start it from the beginning. So I turn it on and I hear the woman's voice. And I should preface this by saying this is a Black author.
Okay.
So So the woman starts talking, and I'm like, something's off here. What's going on? And I'm listening and I'm listening, and then finally I realized why it felt weird. I mean, not only do I not listen to novels, so that's strange, but also I was waiting for the lady to sound black.
Oh, that was your mistake.
I was waiting for her to sound black.
That is your mistake.
She does not sound like a black woman.
The
I don't know if I'm allowed
person.
to say that. She doesn't sound like a black woman, but she doesn't. And
No, I
it's
think that's fair because. Sorry to cut you off. I think it's fair because of the fact, which I think is where you're going, that all the authors who write the books don't also do the audiobooks.
also like if I'm reading a book that I know was written by a black lady, I'm listening in black lady. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. I am listening in my head because I don't know how you read. I don't know how anyone else reads, but when I'm reading a book, especially if it's a novel, I'm like reading it in voices. Like I'm imagining voices in my head. Like that's a part of the experience for me. So when this woman is talking, I hear her as a black woman when I'm physically reading the book. Now that the audiobook is on, I'm like, where's the black lady? Because this person doesn't. And what's wild is that she's, there's different people talking in the book, right? Even
Yeah.
though she's the narrator. So she has to change her voice between the character that's narrating and then these other characters too.
The person reading the audiobook.
Yes.
Okay. So you got three voices in this audiobook
She's doing the
from
voice
one
of the
reader.
children. She's doing the voice of the girlfriends. She's doing the voice of the men.
I mean, that sounds wildly entertaining.
Okay, so here's the thing. After I got past like chapter one, which maybe also because I had already read a few of the chapters, I needed to get past the chapters I read in order for me to not feel that way anymore. Because I'm actually really making my way through the book now. And it's okay. I've made peace with the fact that she doesn't sound like she's black. But the voices are hilarious. Like, yes, when she's also the male voice is doing the same thing, which
Oh,
is
so there's two readers.
wildly entertaining. Yes. So um the woman character, because the reason I'm not saying more is because I don't want to give away what the book is. I don't want to.
It's fine.
This is a great author, and I don't want to,
It's fine.
I
Yeah,
don't want to
I
attach
think it's
this
okay.
to that. But yes, so the woman character is read by a woman, and then the male character is read by a man.
That's fine.
Now that's the nigga. But
All right, wait, pause. Let me ask you something. Is this book urban? Is this supposed to be like where
it's
you
by a black
know?
woman. It's a black woman's story. Like,
Yeah, but there's different tonality in the way things are written, right? I can write a perspective of a woman.
uh-huh.
My perspective of a woman could be an Irish woman, an Italian woman, American black woman, an African, but no, regardless what their ethnicity is,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't mean that the verbiage in the book is written in that dialect or in their same speech patterns of that culture. And so that's why I'm asking, is this book written in an urban American black woman tone? Yes. Okay.
The book is written like, okay, so the character, again, I'm trying not to give away too
I can
much,
give an
but
example if that's
but the
helpful,
character
so you don't have to.
no, but I was gonna say the character is Afro Latina.
Okay.
That's
So
how
we
she
stopped on
identifies.
it.
No. Anyway, so yeah, she's Afro Latina. She identifies as such. She does. And her friends, while they don't say the ethnicity of her friends, it's very clear that at least one of them is Black, and the way that the friend talks
Mhm.
is very much signaling to you that she's Black, as far as I'm concerned, unless I'm interpreting it wrong. But so now you have this lady like trying to do this woman's accent, the one friend.
Yeah.
So you're right. It does. After a while, it just became entertaining because I was like, now she's doing everybody's voices.
Well, that's why I asked, because I don't mind saying, but I'm currently listening to 2 books. One is, and I think it's interesting to see the difference. One is Gary Vee's latest book, right? And Gary Vee is the author, but you could also hear when Gary Vee goes quote unquote off script. And he'll say it even. He'll say, all right, I'm going off script for a minute. What you motherfuckers need to understand is blah, 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 blah. And so I think that's always funny when he does it, because you can hear his tone change. And sometimes he doesn't say it immediately. Sometimes he'll switch. And then at the end of what he says, he'll be like, all right, obviously that last part, I was going off script. Now back to the book. So that's one example which I find funny and realistic. Now, the other example, which is similar to what you're saying, is I'm currently listening to one of David Goggins' books. He's got 2 books. I'm currently listening to one of them. And he does not read his books. His co-author, who's a white guy,
I don't like that either.
His co-author, who's a white guy, is reading the book. So it's exactly what you're saying, where it's like, he's saying things how he talks. And the white co-author is saying things how he talks, including, once in a blue, the N-word, which is discussed in the book. It's usually that someone called him Nigger, and then they'll discuss it. Not Gary. David Goggins does this thing in between chapters where he does an like a mini podcast. So they speak about that in the book, but it's really interesting. So they speak about it, and the author says, like, he breaks the fourth wall. He's like, we had a little bit of a debate because I didn't want to say those words for many reasons. But David, you pushed me to do it. And he's like, yeah, you telling the story. Tell the story. You got my permission. I don't give a fuck. But it's interesting because you're hearing, and if you're a fan of Goggins, you know a lot of these stories from podcasts or whatever, mini videos he puts up online. But you're hearing this other person say it in a totally different tone, and it sounds more like an audiobook being read. So it's really interesting because you can even hear when it's like, yeah, motherfucker. You know how Goggins would say, yeah, motherfucker.
That's funny.
But in the book, it doesn't sound like that when you're reading the audio, when you're listening to the audiobook, because the person is like, so I shouted, yeah, motherfucker. And then I slapped my friend. High five.
Right.
Yeah.
I do like an expressive audiobook. I like when, they're more animated. I will say that.
Yeah.
And I don't like when biographical works are read by other people. I think they should be read by the people they're about.
I can understand that.
I can understand why they maybe wouldn't want to, and that's fine too, but I just like it better when people read for their own audiobook.
I know this has nothing to do with it, but I just had a thought as you said that.
Mm-hmm.
It would be fly if the person's spouse read the audiobook.
Yeah.
Like if I went to listen to the Will Smith audio biography
and Jada read
and
it.
Jada Pinkett was reading.
I think that would be great. That would be awesome. I would love that.
That would be funny. Or like if I go to listen to Viola Davis' book and her husband is reading it, I'd be like, what's going on here?
But I like that though, because we're kind of in on it in a sense.
Yeah. I think that would be cool.
What I was going to say about the male voice though. So the male voice.
You said he's Black, yeah.
I would imagine so. I know we're not supposed to say that we can tell, but.
No, you can tell.
So, but.
Unless they're Aquafina.
No, we can still tell. So.
Oh, man.
What I was gonna say though is he has to do the same thing when he's reading the male chapters.
Doing various voices.
He does various voices.
That sounds fly.
And I do want to say you don't have to do it, but I've heard you speak in a woman's voice before.
I got a girl voice. I do.
Right, and this
got a guy voice too. It's just not called for very often.
This man clearly had a girl voice in his arsenal.
You gotta have that.
In this audiobook.
Yeah.
I mean, the woman does the same thing because she has to also speak parts that are spoken by a male character. So she too deepens her voice. He has this really high pitched.
This is good.
It is so funny.
Mm-hmm.
But again, now that I've gotten past the first couple of chapters, I've made peace with it. But and listen, maybe this person, never mind. It doesn't matter. So, um, yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up because I wanted to see. I mean, I don't know how many novels you read, but I was fascinated by this. This is the first time I've ever done a novel on audiobook, and I'm like, I'm still trying to decide if I like it or not because the voices thing is a little weird, but also funny. But also, I'm making it through the book, and I'm glad because I knew how interesting it was. I just couldn't like
Get
fix
through it.
my brain to finish reading the book. So I'm
Yeah.
getting through it. I'm like halfway through the book now.
Yeah, I don't really listen to novels, or read them, to be honest, at this point. Not that I'm against them, I listen more to like business and self-help stuff today.
Yeah.
But it does catch me off guard when I listen to an audiobook and a person who wrote it isn't doing it.
Yeah.
But even the stuff I listen to, I would say it's probably 70-30. 70% of the time, it's not the person who wrote the book. And that's where I always find it interesting. Like I listened to one book, and this author usually does their books, but I guess they were busy. And like some famous actor did their audiobook. And I was like, I know exactly who this is. Why are you doing an audiobook?
That's
This is
cool
like a
too.
favor or something? Like, what the hell?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's cool
They
too.
weren't an A-list actor, but we know.
But it was somebody known,
I
right?
immediately was like, I know who this is. And I
Yeah.
looked it up to check, and I was like, I knew it. I know you. Not personally, obviously, but I knew who
Right.
it was. I recognized who it was.
Yeah. And I think if it's, to your point, if it's like a business book, if it's some sort of self-help or something like that, I don't really care who voices it, right? Just as long as the voice is pleasing to the ear, I think is
Yeah.
the most important thing, which
Oh,
there
like you
these
told me
things.
about a book. Remember, we had a conversation off pod. You told me about a book, and I was like, "Oh, I'll listen to the audiobook." And it's boring as hell. I can't get through it. And there are
Yeah.
3 different authors reading it, 3 different
Oh, I know which
narrators
book.
reading it. Excuse me. And I'm like, y'all are all boring. Why are none of you good at this? But maybe that's the pace they were told to do it in.
Right. And for a book like that, it's
Because a lot of audiobooks, in my experience anyway, they're not super exciting.
right, but and
There's this like
the book that I told you
mellow.
about wouldn't be an exciting audiobook anyway. So
Yeah,
probably better to just read it.
yeah,
Read the actual book.
probably.
But yeah, I just thought it was funny. I said, Now where is the black voice?"
Yeah, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise!
Oh, I was gonna do surprise, surprise,
Right,
surprise, surprise.
exactly.
Yeah,
So,
I had fun with it the first couple of chapters, but I've forced myself to get past the first few chapters just to make sure that, you know, and it's been fine. I've been fine.
gotcha.
I've been more eager to put it on now that I've gotten over that little,
Take some time to get used to it.
yeah,
I understand.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. Well, go ahead. Same time. Go ahead.
that's our show.
Yes,
We'll see you
indeed. This has
tomorrow.
been Weeknights. Thank you for being here. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye.